So right, we know max is going to be positive, right is going to be negative, so when you divide it's going to be negative. So we don't want, say for example, negative 65 to be less than negative 127 over negative 2. 127 over negative 2 is going to be what? 64 or something, right? So that's going to be less than. Negative 65 is less than negative 64. So we don't want this to happen. So that's why it's an overflow. So I'm going over this in detail because this is what you need to look at or use for your or adapt for your quiz. Okay, based on this code. Take home quiz. Alright, so if nothing happens, if no exception is thrown, so all these things happen inside the if block. So if none of them are true, or true means none of them are valid, which means there's no problem. Okay, so only if one of this is true, you throw an exception. If none of them are true, you do not throw an exception. What you do, return left times right. So it's a normal multiplication. Okay. All right. So same way, what are the other operations you could have? We divide. Divide is very simple. Why? Divide actually reduces the value. So only time you can have an exception is we already covered that. When you divide the min value by negative 1, right? So we have negative 128, you divide negative 128 by negative 1, you get what? 1 plus positive 128, right? So when you divide negative 128 by negative 1, you get positive 128, it is greater than maximum. So you don't want this to happen. Anytime else you divide, the value only reduces, right? So this is the only condition you have to check for division. Then for negate, negate means what? If you have say int a equals negative 5 and you say a equals negative a, what it means? You are changing the sign, right? So when this can generate an exception, when this could lead to an exception, for what value of a you could have an exception with this? If you have negative 128 for a equals negative a makes a to be plus positive 128, right? So that will be more than 127. Okay? So that's why you check if a equals min, integer dot min, so which means like in this case it will be 8 bits. So if it's equal to negative 128, then what you do? Throw an exception. Otherwise, for all values of a, you can return the negative value of a. Right? So you won't have any problem to turning a positive to negative. So if you have say a is 127, that's the maximum value of a you can have, plus 127. Setting a equals negative a makes it negative 127. That's not a problem because you go up to negative 128. So the only time we have a problem is when a is the minimum value. The argument is the minimum value. Okay? Because the range is always negative is like negative 1 more than the maximum rate for positive. So that's why you have this rule. Same thing for absolute. What is absolute? Each programming language has a function to do absolute, right? Java has what? Mod.abs, right? Or sorry, not mod, math.abs function. So same thing like negative. So if you have negative 128, you take the absolute value of that, it will become positive 128. And you don't want to handle that. So you check whether the argument is equal to the minimum. Anything less than, more than negative 128, for example, negative 127 or negative 10 or anything, less than, not less than, greater than, right? So check if the argument is minimum. Anything other than the minimum, you take the mod, not mod, what? Absolute value, it will be positive and within the range, right? So only when you take the absolute value of a negative, the minimum, right, that will be outside your acceptable range. Okay, so these are all there for you. So you have to just try to. Yes.
So why you not wrote like if statement? Why you didn't write like
you have
greater than the integer?
This
Yeah, based
Yeah.
on that one.
Right, good question. Can you tell me answer? I kept telling a couple of times why I don't need to check that. You're validating your inputs. See, these are acceptable inputs, right? All working with 8 bits again. So the acceptable inputs are this, right? So if the user enters anything outside the range as input, you catch it at the time of input itself. You see what I mean? So let's run the program and see what happens. That's why so I really encourage you to practice these programs. Try running them. This should be, yeah, so everything is very organized, so it's very easy to figure out. So let's do this addition thing, okay? So instead of int, because it had entered a really long value, large value, so let me just change it to short. Okay? So for that you have to use, not even short, you can even use byte. Byte is really 8 bits. Short is 16 bits. Okay. So let's just try with this and see what happens. It may not compile, I have to change everywhere else, but let me just comment everything else. Okay, I catch long. So here I am trying to input a byte. So if I enter something, let's see. You see, I get a number format exception right at the input stage because I'm trying to get what? I'm trying to input a byte. A byte is accepted in what range? Negative 128 to 127. So if I enter something within that range, it should accept. So let's enter something like 109, it accepts, right? So you see, if I enter 139, what error it gives, the exception it gives, number format exception, and says value out of range, right? So all the code that I have shown you assumes that if the inputs, the values are more outside the range right away, that they are caught in the input state itself. So the code that I have here is you get the valid inputs, you try to do some arithmetic on them, addition or multiplication or whatever the operation. So we are concerned here about the overflow that happens when you do a math operation, arithmetic operation on those values. So we are assuming the actual values of left and right and all this A and everything is within the range of acceptable values. You see that? Okay? So that's why you say if this happens, for example, the problem with this absolute thing, when the problem will happen if what?
You do an absolute 128.
If it's less than or equal to the minimum, right? So we don't need to check for the less than. Why? We are sure that A will not be less than the minimum. Because if we try to enter something less than the minimum acceptable value for that data type, it's going to throw an exception as the input stage itself. So that's why I'm checking A is equal to the minimum. You see what I mean? There's nothing wrong in checking less than or equal to like this, but there's no need. So as a software developer, sometimes you have to be really, confident on the code that you write. This is 100% correct, that nothing will happen if I put double equal to, because no way you will have a situation which is less than or equal to, or less than. You see what I mean? Okay? So in software testing or software engineering, you should do all the software testing where you write all the test cases and do all these things. Okay? Alright, so let's move on. So the second solution is to do what is called upcasting. Upcasting means, let's look at this course first, the vulnerable program, and I'll tell you what upcasting means. Okay, so here I'm just getting 3 inputs, okay, as short 16-bit values, okay, and I'm doing this add. All I'm trying to do is A plus B minus C. I'm trying to compute A plus B minus C. So you may think it's a simple arithmetic operation, right? So let's see what happens. So you add the code, the vulnerable program does something like this. It adds them, short A and short B minus short C. If the whole thing, right, is again typecast back to short, you may be wondering why, right? Internally, when you add to short or byte or anything, it is kind of what you call upgraded as an int, and the addition is done assuming that these are integer values, right? So that's why if I run this program by passing inputs like 32, 760, 10 and 5. Why I pick 32, 760? The acceptable range for a short is negative 32768 to 32767. Right? The inputs are an acceptable range. But when you add them, 32760 plus 10 is what? 32770, right? And when I subtract, it becomes 32765. Isn't it? So you may think it is right. 32760 plus 10 is 32770, minus 5 is 32765. Right? The whole sum, the whole value, short A is what? 32760 plus a 10 minus the 5. So you think the whole thing is 32765 is still within the short range. Right? But internally what happens? This gets kind of upgraded and the operation is done as an integer. So when you do this addition, when you add this to short, if the addition is really done as to short data type, it should be an overflow right here when you get 32770. But the compiler, when you run the program, there's no error message that you get. Right? Why? Because when you do an add, right, whatever be the data type, it's promoted as an integer. If something less than int, this is a byte, short, anything less than an int, it's promoted as an integer, and that's how the addition is done. And then what you do, so this is now basically an integer for the temporarily time being. Minus the 5, which is again an integer, it's promoted as an integer, you get 32765. And you typecast it back to a short. Because you may be thinking that this may exceed int. That's why you know that as a programmer this is processed as an int. So that's why you want to typecast back the int to a short, because you want the result to be in short. Okay, so that's why you typecast it back to short. But this exception overflow is not caught. You still get the right the value as expected, but it should not be possible, because if you do it as a short, it should be an overflow. So in order to catch this, you should do what? you should process them, you could upgrade it, or you could, that's called upcast to an int, but check if this int is still within the acceptable value for short. Right? So this is acceptable for int, but this is not acceptable for what? As a short. 32770 is not acceptable as a short value, right? Of data type short. You see what I mean? So this is what we'll be checking. On the other hand, if I pass something like this, 32760 and 105, so what happens? 32760 plus 100 is 32860. So there is no exception still, because it is processed as an int. So if you add these two int, it's still within the range. Int is much longer, right? So 32760 plus 100 is 32860. Minus a 5 is 32855. Right? So 32760 plus 100 is going to be 32860, minus a 5 is going to be 32855. So this is an int now. So you are trying to typecast it back to a short. So you try to typecast it to a short. The acceptable range for short is what? negative this to 32767. So this is now outside the acceptable range. Right? This is now 32855 is outside this range for a short. So this is when the overflow happens. Okay? And try to see how do you get this exactly, why you get this number 32681, because of 2's complement. Okay? So why you get this particular value? Because of 2's complement. Okay, so it takes another 5-10 minutes to explain that, but I don't want to spend time on that. But it's still an overflow, right? We don't want this. Okay, so how do we catch all these things? We can do something like this. Let me see, since I have the code, I can pull up from there and increase the size of the. Okay, so the way we are going to do it is, what we are doing here, we are doing originally an A plus B minus C, right? So we are doing an addition and a subtraction, and we have the code to check for a safe addition, whatever be the data type, you can check for that, and subtraction, right? So I have the code for safe addition, same code that we went over last time. And here I am checking for int. I'll tell you why we are using int. So we are getting two arguments, int left, int right, add the code for safe addition, then have a code for safe subtraction that we did before. So you see how we are reusing the code. So we know how to write the safe addition code or a safe subtraction code. Right? Then let's go over what we are doing. So I'm getting the three short values, right? And what do I want to do? A plus B minus C. So how I am breaking it up? I am first trying to add A plus B. Right? I know A is a short, B is a short. Call as short underscore A, short underscore B. That's a variable name. So what I am doing is I am calling safe add, and I am passing short A and short B. This is a short data type. But when you call, I just showed you I am writing safe add as int, right? Safe add takes two integer arguments. So that's fine, you can upgrade. That's what's upcasting. Okay? So short is kind of transformed to an int, right? And you do the math as an int and still check if there's an overflow as an int. That's fine. And if nothing is overflow is not a problem, you return the sum, left plus right. Right? So left plus right is an integer. Okay, int data type. So what you do now, before doing anything else, See, that's what we didn't do there. When we got that 32770 as an int, we did not flag it as an overflow because it was an int. It's acceptable as an int. So it is still acceptable as an int if you did the same values, right? 32760 plus a 10 is 32770. It's acceptable as an int. But what you should do, check if it falls within the range of a short. So the way I'm calling this function is, I'm calling safe add short underscore a short b. These are two values. So whatever it returns an int, I'm passing that to what? This function check short range. So what is that function doing? It should really do what? It should check whether the value is taking only one argument, right? It should check whether the value of the argument it is passed is what? Just within the range. You see the check short range, it takes the integer argument as a value, as a variable name. If value is greater than short.max value, so it's greater than the acceptable range for max short, so it's what, 32767, or value less than short.min value, right? So the integer value is outside the range for short, then you throw an arithmetic exception. Otherwise, just return the value. So again, still it's returned as an int, but you know now that int value is within the acceptable range for short. If you return an int which is within the range for short, you can return as an int, right? So that's what you do for the addition. So then what you do, we want to do the subtraction too, right? So then use this. So here I have put everything as one single statement. If you want, you can break it down into multiple lines, like for your quiz, because you have a long polynomial. So what you do now, so this is now one value, right? The result of a plus b. So now call now what? Your subtraction. So call safe subtract and pass this comma what? C. So short underscore c. So this will again do an integer subtraction, return an integer value. You want to make sure the return integer value is within the range for a short. So what you should do now, like we did, check the return value falls within this, nest again with this. So if you are not comfortable with nesting the functions, split them up. So call short, check short range again. So now you call check short range, it's going to check if the resulting sum a plus b minus c is within the range. If it's within the range, it's going to return fine. Otherwise, it's going to throw an exception. So then you can, if it's within the range, right, it's going to return something within the range, say 32765 or something. Then you can, this is still an int, but you can typecast it to a short. There's no problem in typecasting this to a short. So that's why eventually I'm typecasting it to a short. I'm taking the result. Okay, so this is very similar to what we should do for a project. So like a small polynomial a plus b minus c, same thing you can do for your polynomial that you have been assigned. Okay. So by the way, some people are not there last time when I assigned you polynomials. So I'll try to include your name in the project quiz description again and post it. Okay. So you can get started actually by now. Okay, the third solution is to use big integer, but I do not want you to use big integer. It's very straightforward. Okay, I need you to learn through all these things. So what big integer does, you did in your RSA project, right? So let me go over again like this. Okay, so you want to again add, do this math, a plus b minus c. If you have done RSA, the project, you should be very familiar with this. So how do you kind of convert each of them to a big integer? Just an empty string plus the value variable name, right? So now each is a big int, big integer. So big A, big B, big C. Alright? So then what you want to do? You want to do a plus b minus c. So there are functions in the big integer class, you know, to add, multiply, subtract and all those stuff. So what you are doing is to do a plus b minus c and calling big underscore a dot add and passing big underscore b. So this is basically doing a plus b. And then the resulting thing will be a big integer. So I'm doing again dot subtract big C. So that will return a plus b minus c. The whole thing is a big integer. Right? So now what can you do? You can again write a check short range function that takes a big integer as an argument. Right? So what is this check short range function doing? The check short range function should check now whether it is you're taking the big int value as the argument. Now I'm declaring a couple of variables, so actually you can use it like this, but if you want to reduce the length, you say big integer dot value of short max. This is actually what? The short dot max value is 32767, right? I'm getting a big integer format version of it. Okay? So that's what I'm doing here. And then short dot min value is negative 32768. I'm getting a big integer version of it. Alright? And what I'm checking now, because everything is big int now, so you have to use the corresponding functions. So let's say I got my a plus b minus c to be say 32755. I want to check whether this is a big int now. Okay, so I want to check whether this is within the acceptable range for short. Right, so what I have to do? I'm comparing this big int, which is 32755 with, so there's a compare to function. The compare to function returns 1 if this value is greater than the maximum. So what is our maximum? 32767, right? So if this is greater than this, it returns 1. If it is less than this, it is if it is less than the minimum. What's the minimum? 32768, negative 32768. So if I compare this with the positive maximum and check if it is equal to 1, because if it is greater than this, it returns 1. If it is less than negative 32768, it returns negative 1. In our case, for this value, both are not possible, right? This is not greater than this is not less than this, right? So both are false. So there's no chance you can throw an exception. So you will just return value, alright? But if you had an overflow, like 32770 or something like that, this is going to be greater than this, right? So then this will be true. So only one of them will be true. So that's why you have an OR here. Okay, so either this or this. So in this case, this will be true. It returns 1, and then you can throw an exception. Okay, so this is how you check whether the big int value you have is still within the acceptable range for short. So once you check if it's acceptable range for short, what you do? You know how to convert back to short, right? There is in the big integer class, since sometimes people don't work with short all the time, they don't have a direct function to convert to short. They have, but you know how to convert an int, right? You did in an RSA project. So big result dot int value will get you first as an int, and then you can typecast the int to a short, right? So that's what I have done here, and then you can print the result, right? So that is 1. Okay. Now these are the smaller programs, more easy to understand. So you should be very careful when you work with double data type. Double means what? Real numbers, right? So let's say I want to do the simple math. What is the math I want to do? I have $1 and I have a dime value is what? 10 cents, right? And I have 7 dimes, so I want to subtract what? The dollar value minus 7 times the value of a dime. So basically I want to compute this math. So $1 minus 10 times, or not, 7 times 10 cents, 0.10. I want to get what? 30 cents. This is what I want. Okay? Type this code up, or the code is already there given to you, and run it. You will be surprised. You won't get exactly 0.30. You will get some number like this. This is because internally the float or the floating values are not stored as perfect values. You want to store negative. See what we are doing here, the math is dollar minus dime times number 7, right? So this negative 10 or this 1, it depends on how internally things are stored, but at least one of them are not stored exactly like this. Even though you initialize like dollar equals 1.00 and dime equals 0.10 and declare them as double data type, internally they are not stored exactly like this. So when you do the math, like $1.0 minus dime times number, that's what I'm doing and trying to print out, right? It won't print like you expect 0.30. It will print something like this, 0.29999. So this is not acceptable if you're running some safety critical application, like you're testing for some value and you want it to be exactly 0.3 and you expect it to be 0.3 but not like this, right? There'll be a failure of your software, right? So how to get around the situation? One way is to use what is called, in this case it's quite obvious that we can get everything as an int. So you know $1 is 100 cents, a dime is 10 cents, and you have 7 such dimes. So instead of doing everything in decimal, I can do everything as int. I can do something like this and say I have 30 cents, right? So that's why I am doing everything as int. Dollar equals 100, int dime